meditation, yoga, wellness events. And so that's something that I really love to do. And right now I'm just doing events for meditation, but I would love to have a regular class in the future as well. So yeah, Iridaeza, I established it in 2017. Again, it was after working with these small business owners for a long time and realizing that there was just things that, you know, as a small business owner, it's like a never ending task list, right? And so really being able to have somebody to depend on for some social media, for some writing, website creation, graphic design, and product photography. Those are all things that I do and that I offer. You know, and social media, there's so many different layers. There's the photography, there's the layout design, there's the writing for captions, planning, timing, template design for, you know, events or products, really anything like that. So it's just a lot of work to be done. And then I also offer writing. So for blog posts, biographies, product descriptions, monthly newsletters, website creation and upkeep. And I'll get into those websites that I use in a little bit here. Also the graphic design, again, for social media or doing presentations, you know, really anything. And then product photography. And so this year with Iridaeza, I also started a couple of different community offerings. So one of them is Book Club Iridaeza, where it's a go at your own pace style of book club. And so it's really just interactive on my website. And it's one of the reasons why I chose WordPress for that. And then also a community of mindful women. So I'm doing a feature of women who I personally know, who I think are doing just really important things in the world, mostly in the wellness arena. And so I have both of those community offerings on my website now. So why are we here? You know, why is this important to us? And a lot of you said it already. COVID, pivoting especially. So needing to offer new products or services, or needing to come online maybe for the first time, or needing to become much more visible, staying much more connected to the community, you know. So whether you're going to be building your first website, or if you're going to be wanting to build a brand new one to really be able to cater better to the pivoting that you've had to do, you know. So this is why, you know, it's important to all of us. And then really, what is it? To break it down, it's anything that can be found on an online search, you know. So we want to be engaged with this process. We want to be, you know, how do we best represent ourselves, and how do we, can you guys hear me okay? It just beeped at me. Okay. So yeah, anything that can, second, and see if that's better. Can you hear me okay still? Okay. And so, yeah, we really just want to be engaged with this. We want to stay active. We want to make sure that what we're posting has relevancy to our community, and people will see that, you know. So whether it's through our website, through our Instagram, our Facebook, etc., you know, just being able to keep up with what it is we want to be producing is really important. And so why does it matter? You know, that's kind of the same question as why is it important to us? But it goes a little bit beyond that, I think, where it matters more too, outside of just why it matters to us. So it builds trust. So this online presence, you know, whether it's somebody just Googling our company or Googling our name, anything that comes up is going to continue to build that brand for us. So, and it's so much about communication, right? So building trust, communicating to the community what are we up to? What are we interested in? How are we contributing? And how are we staying active in what we care about? So for website platforms, there are a ton of them. I think that there's over 20 different website platforms that you can choose from. These are my 3 favorites. So I've worked with a few other ones as well, and I was going to include those in the presentation, but I realized, when I started to break down these 3 specifically, they're just my favorite. So Shopify is great for product-based businesses, and I'll get more into that in just a second. WordPress is awesome for their themes, their ability to customize, and they have a ton of apps. So you can connect all of these different apps to make your website just that much better and a little bit more interactive. And then Squarespace, very design focused. So it's kind of hard to mess Squarespace up. They are really just streamlined. Every Squarespace website I've seen is really beautiful and put together really well. They also focus on product-based selling, but I do think that Shopify comes in just a little bit, it comes in a little bit better with that. And it's because of its organization. It's the organization for its products, its collections, its tagging, being able to add vendors to it. And so with this, it really allows you to, if you want to have sales, if you want to feature different products, if you want to be able to showcase different collections, Shopify is so good for that. And here's a picture from my Shopify website here. Also, the organization with shipping and orders it's just really clear, really streamlined. I don't work for Shopify or anything like that, but I just really enjoy using it. Shopify also has a ton of apps, and one of the apps that I think that is most important is the POS, or the point of sale connection. And so that is, that's if you want to be selling online, but you also want to be selling in person, you can have a POS connection there, very, very streamlined. Digital download is another app that's really great. You can have something for a digital download. So for the MCCA, the Micronesia Climate Change Alliance, we downloaded the digital download app for them. And so you can get on their website, you can buy their cookbook, and it directly downloads right into your inbox, and you can just have it. You can print it off yourself, or you can keep it as a download. And that's just, I think, a really great offering. You could do, even for small businesses, you could even do some sort of free PDF offering or a paid, anything. And the digital download is a really great app that people can just get it right away in your inbox. Product review is another really great app. It's basically like a built-in testimonial feature where anybody who buys your product, they can come back and review your product. And so then it continues to build that trust for your website and for the products that you're offering. Plant a Tree is another app that when people buy your products, you can connect this app, and then this company will plant a tree for everything that you sell. So policy templates for Shopify is really nice too. You need to have, when you build an online product-based business, people want to see shipping policies, they want to see return policies, very important. And so Shopify has those basically built in. You can edit them to however you need for your business, but it takes a lot of the pressure off. They also offer curbside pickup and local delivery, which again, I think is really important for right now, because a lot of businesses that were just in real life businesses are now in real life and online, and so being able to offer curbside pickup and local delivery is a great option. And so whether you're building a website for the first time, or if you want to revamp, photos are pretty much everything. You can get photos from places like Unsplash. You can get, different stock photos, which are really beautiful. But then you're going to also want some personal photos. You're going to want a headshot and maybe an updated one. You're going to want pictures of your products or your services, and then some lifestyle photos. And so maybe that's just your services, or that's how you use your products out in the world. Hopefully you have a logo. If not, maybe you would want one to build a little bit more of a cohesiveness for your brand. You definitely need writing, copy, so your about, your descriptions, everything. And you're going to want to, if you want to write that yourself, I think that's great, but maybe have somebody look over it and edit it, because the way that we communicate about our services, when we write something about our products or services, we are already familiar with that. And so it doesn't always communicate everything it needs to. And so it's always good to have somebody to come in and kind of to edit for you, or be able to ask questions. And then your contact info, you want to make sure that you have a professional email, and ways that people can contact you clearly. So some other things to consider, your budget, of course, what plan you're going to need, how big is your business? That's really going to tell you what size of a website you're going to need to be building, and all of the things that you're going to need on the back end. How much support are you going to need? Themes, so how do you want your website to look, and do you want to pay for that? Is that something that you want to try to do on just a for the free? Most of these websites have a cheaper or a free plan. And sometimes that works to start, but often people notice pretty quickly, like, oh, I'm going to need to pay for something a little bit more to have a website look a little bit more on brand. And then you're also going to want to get client and customer testimonials, which can sometimes be a little challenging to get from people. But I think that it's always good to be asking for that and to be getting that feedback from people. That is something that really helps build trust with people that maybe would like to come to you, but don't really know you that well, or aren't really sure what you offer. The client and customer testimonials are huge. So yeah, what to expect. It takes time. I think setting a soft launch and a hard launch dates are awesome. I've built websites where we've just had hard launch dates, and then there are a lot of questions. There's a lot of customer service that needs to then be involved. So setting a soft launch is really great. You can tell your friends and family to get on there, interact with the site. You yourself can get on there and interact with the site and really see what needs to be changed before a hard launch, before really opening it up and promoting it. So communication with whoever's either designing for you or with you, get really clear, and then also to get really organized with what you want it to look like, what you want to feature. And be patient with the process. It does take time, and there's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of little things on the back end of a website. Okay, and so for Iridaeza, I brought these up. So here is my Iridaeza WordPress. And I decided to go with 2 websites. So I pay for 2 websites, and I utilize both websites. So the WordPress website I built to feature the interactive and blog kind of style for the book club and the community of women that I wanted to build. And so it has all of these features here. So it has, the book club feature. This is basically my portfolio and the services that I offer. This links over to Shopify. I did try to link Shopify with WordPress, where I put all of my products into WordPress, because that is a feature that WordPress and Shopify offer, that they can connect. And it just wasn't the same experience. Like getting into Shopify and just having that shopping experience is really streamlined. And then here's the community of women feature. So, and then here's the Shopify. And so it just allows you to really showcase and feature your items, and if you're just a product-based business, you can just use one website. You can just use Shopify or just use Squarespace. But I wanted to have a few different things going on. And so that's why I decided to use the two together. Here are some of my go-to tools. So on my phone, I use Preview. Preview is an app where you can organize all of your Instagram photos before you post them. So you know exactly what your page is going to look like before you post it, which I think is so helpful. It is, I think it's something that a lot of people are using these days. And there's a few other ones that work as well. Preview is just the one that I have. And then I'm actually not sure how you pronounce it, either Witagram or Whitagram. And that's one where you can put your photos in and you can have a nice frame. It puts your photos in a frame, so you can kind of space out your photos. So it's also not so kind of like mashed together. Sometimes you go to an Instagram page and it's a little overwhelming. It's kind of a little bit too many of the same thing, maybe over too many words over and over again, So these two apps are really great for getting your Instagram really organized, streamlined. And then on my computer, Canva, which is it's an online, so I guess it's not really an app, but it's an online tool that I use. It's what I'm doing the presentation on today. It's what I use for Instagram templates, Facebook templates. And then for a photo editor, I just use my default Mac photo editor. I have talked to so many people over the years that use all sorts of different kinds of different editors. And I have found that if you have good lighting for your photos, you don't really need a lot of editing, unless you're trying to do something crazy. And then Mailchimp is what I use for my newsletters. So I did want to speak to having a newsletter. I noticed that some people don't think that it's really necessary. And of course, it's not necessary. But I do think that it offers, it's such a potent communication tool for really speaking directly to your clients. If they are going to opt in for an email from you, they want to hear from you. They want you to offer them something. They want you to be involved in their lives. They want to be involved in your life and in your business. And so I just put up a couple examples here. You can personalize them. You can offer maybe a product of the month or a favorite item, or what have you guys been up to? What book are we reading in the book club now? Etc. Okay, and so on to taking pleasing product photos. So this is a photo that I took for Blue Amber Trio. I helped them set up their Shopify website. And so for me, we have such amazing lighting on Guam. I use a combination of my office window and then a photography light. So I have a big photography light that I prop up, and then I do a combination. I do wait for a certain time of day to do that. It all kind of takes place in one window of time. But then, like I said, my editing process is very minimal, which I really appreciate. Also, I just want to say, get creative with your angles of photography. Don't come at it just from one angle all the time. Don't think that it has to look a certain way or be a certain way. It can, your photography for your products can really say just what you want it to. It can be, it can just have your own flair to it. And then for editing, you do want the photos to be very bright, but you don't want them to be overexposed. And so when you are doing some editing, you don't want the white in the crystals, for instance, to be so blown out that you can't see their detail. And so just watching for little things like that when you edit. And so then I have a few examples here. So just playing with placement of things, don't be afraid to open things up and move things around. Showcase different parts and different angles of things. So for these earrings, they all come on their own little card, but I took all of them off and sprinkled them around, and yeah, just have fun with it. And so for Amrita Botanicals, I've done a few things with them. They're based out of Northern California, and she grows the majority of her own ingredients. And so showcasing her ingredients was something that was really important for her product photos. All right, and then here's some Instagram layouts. So using Preview for all of these, using Canva for the quotes and these different templates. So I added here, using the product photos or your lifestyle photos with other found photos, it can really create a larger story for your brand. You, of course, want to do research behind the photos you're reposting and always giving credit to where you found them. But including other people, I think, can tell a larger story. Who are we supporting? Who is our community? And there we go. So thank you guys so much for having me. And I would love, to talk and answer any questions for you. Here is my information as well. Join us online for the book club and the feature of community women. So.
Thank you so much, Emma. So yeah, I know I have some questions. I'm sure this will be more of a Q&A kind of thing too. So I know online, that you guys have different businesses online. I know I have some questions, so I'm just going to lead out the gate and then I'm going to let you all jump in. Take advantage of this, having the mic. So I have a grant writing online business as well as I do services, but I sell products. I sell my products through my WordPress site. I have never used Shopify, but I like how you integrated it between WordPress and Shopify. Is that something you can do, or if somebody's already set up through WordPress, would you just say, just stay there? Because where I sell my products is actually on Podia, which is it's an external kind of e-commerce platform where you can host courses and you can host videos and stuff. So it's not on your website, but you can link out to that, right? So I can integrate those pages on my website, but they kind of point over. But would you say Shopify would be something that would be good too? Or if you already have an e-commerce platform that you're utilizing, just to use that? If you could kind of speak to that, that would be great.
A few moving parts there. So I think that if you were just using WordPress, I would maybe say to utilize something else, because coming from the place of small business, it can be kind of like a one-woman show, where it's there's so many moving parts, that endless to-do list. And so organization, I think, is huge. And so if you enjoy the way that the shopping experience has been, and if you have feedback from people, I think stick with what you've got going on. That's something else that I think is important, is to, unless you have found that things aren't really working for you, or you would like something refreshed, I think stick with what stick with what you can handle on more so on your own, or however you have it set up, because you do want it to be accessible for you. You do want to be able to get in there and make changes when needed, and so that's another reason why I enjoy working with the websites that I featured as well, is because they're really easy to be able to get in there and be like, oh, okay, I need to change this one sentence, or I just want to add this one paragraph, or I took some updated photos. And so I think unless you really wanted to refresh something because they're, you either do just want a big change, or you're finding that something's not really maybe it doesn't have a good flow. That would be, those would be the reasons I would change it. But otherwise, I would stick with what you know.
Okay. And I like that use also. It's not just go through PayPal or whatnot. You know what I mean? I think there's kind of that too, as we've all kind of maybe shifted online right away. It's just go through PayPal. And there's a time and place for that. But I think it's so easy to get plugins and stuff for e-commerce that, you know, you can do it in a more trusted way where your consumers, you know, the people who are shopping around for your products feel safer. Can you kind of talk to the security issues and just like that kind of buying online from the consumer's point of view?
Yeah. So, so I actually feel really comfortable using PayPal, and because too, you don't have to have an account. You can just use. I know that that's something that people have had an issue with before, where it's like, oh, I can only use PayPal, but I don't have a PayPal account. But you can bypass that feature and just use any credit card. But then. And I don't work with them personally, but I have talked to them on the phone before with Affinity Solutions. And so they're a local Guam company that you can integrate into your website, and they offer like a third-party protection.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
And so Blue Amber Trio uses Affinity Solutions for their Shopify, and she really likes it. So.
Oh, nice. Okay, great. Yeah. Okay. So those are some of my questions. How about you guys out there? Do you have questions on your website or any of the newsletter or even the branding that Emma was talking about?
Yeah, I have a couple of questions, Holly, and thanks again, Emma. You know, we have a lot of particularly women who are looking to make changes in what they're doing. And so if one were to plan to be a service business in particular, what kind of a budget should that person look at, and what kind of a time frame, so that it makes planning and thinking smart, and it's done very mindfully.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, the budget is I feel like it's so personal, you know, it really depends on the capital that you're starting with. And maybe if you already have some clients, you know, or not. But I think about the cheapest end of a website is going to be like $12 to $18 a month. And then you can get ones that are almost $200 a month. Themes run between, and the themes are just a flat rate, or a one-time thing, but they're between $80 and $160. And then you can also, you know, so for the monthly rates, you can pay them monthly, or you can get a little bit of a discount and choose yearly. But time frame for building a website, depending on how busy the website designer is, it can be anywhere from a month to 2 months. Yeah.
That's a great question, Jackie, because I've had to I think I've done 3 websites now, and I've invested a lot of time and money. And part of that too is the website developer can only move as fast as you do, right? Like, so I know I've witnessed this with a lot of solo entrepreneurs who they take time to get their content together, or, you know what I mean? So they still have to come up with that. It's not the website developer's like position, right, to do that, because it's your story, it's your brand, it's what you want to put across. So those are really good questions, because that can mull you down. Even like the headshots, you know, those kind of things that you don't think about, that might be something you have to invest in, right? If you really want to have a clean image, that sort of thing. So yeah, those are great questions. So those can definitely take time. And I know Angel and Geraldine from SBDC, you know, they would have more too on how, maybe some recommendations for that, or even maybe small grants available to startup entrepreneurs for that, because that can cost you something, right? So yeah. But yeah, this is great. And we also have a question from Razmeet. She says, hi Emma, thank you for your time and information. I had a question regarding getting more leads for my website. I've set up my website for my waterproof bags, which are fantastic. And now I'm likely to really generate a lot more traffic and convert them to sales. For a simple product like a waterproof bag, is there any other way to get traffic other than blog posts? Great question.
Yeah. And she's in the chat, right? Yeah. Okay. And I'm assuming
she can hear us, she just can't say anything. Sorry.
Okay. And so, you know, I think that comes down to just kind of like larger marketing. You know, SEOs are definitely a thing that need to be utilized. And so just the language around how you're describing them, and then using those just on pretty much every page of your descriptions, etc. And then kind of just, like larger marketing, like who could you partner with to maybe feature them? Could you do some sort of giveaway or feature somewhere? Because I have noticed, like I do different research things, or I research different things and I try different things, but it can be challenging getting people to come directly to your website. And so I think that it really is just a thing of larger marketing and collaborating.
Okay, great. And you mentioned SEO, which is search engine optimization, and those are keywords that you put into your website. Now, I've been trying out and playing with these more. I don't know how many of you guys, just by raising your hands, you guys use SEO, the search engine optimization, or keywords? Yeah? Okay. So definitely there is that. They say that's key, although I'm not really sure if I'm doing it right. I kind of put the description. I use the words nonprofits and grant writers quite a bit. And I'm like, I don't know if that's really working, like how these algorithms work. Can you kind of touch on that a little bit more?
Yeah, I mean, I really think that it is that. It's just, and it's about using those words, your keywords, the words that you want to use for branding, the words that you associate with your business, and placing those in the descriptions. And so when people are Google searching, the more that you have those, the more that they're going to be, the more that they're going to pop up. But there is such a large sea, of each of us in our respected fields on the web. And so the more traffic that comes, the more that your site will pop up and things like that. And so then it is just like kind of larger marketing stuff. It can be challenging to get people to come to the website. So I do think that it is, and it can be too, like, getting out there sometimes and doing a few paid promotions from time to time, maybe running a Google ad from time to time, and just kind of experimenting with things like that.
Great. Do we have some other questions from the group here? No, everyone's confident. So as far as, can I just touch on then your services? So I know you touched on those a little bit, but say if somebody wants to come to you, and you said you do a lot of these different services for people, like, you worked with Blue Amber Trio, there's a couple other companies that you showcased in your PowerPoint presentation. So you do a lot of different things. Is that something you piecemeal out? Like if I came to you and I said, Emma, I need some copy written, I need a new bio written, like, I just can't even deal with this anymore. Just like redo it, make it so people might, there might be more of the SEO in there or something like that, right? Or maybe I'm like, oh, my blogs, like when I write a lot of my articles, I just like fly through it and I always need somebody to like edit, that sort of thing. So these are different things you mentioned, like are those things that you like? And if so, like, are those things that you actually do piecemeal, or do you have to get all one package? And also, what do you like to do the most and why?
Yeah. Thanks, Holly. I definitely do those piecemeal, freelance style. And again, so when I started the business, it was really just because I saw so many women in business who were just really running it on their own, doing their own thing, whether it was a retail business or a product-based business. And I was just like, I want to be able to help you women. I want to be able to help you guys, And so I really enjoy writing. I enjoy editing. I enjoy product photography. Right now too, and throughout the years, I've done social media management for different companies and different women. So I enjoy all of that. And I can, and it's definitely just kind of whatever you need help with. It's just, how can I help, and how can we figure out a budget and what it is you really need? How much time do you have? How much time do I have? Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you could come in and do like a retainer where you could help like with social media content, or you could just come in and be like, okay, I can help with this editing or this copy or this bio or something like that, or putting together your branding. So those would all be really great things. I know even if, you know, I enjoy doing some of those things, sometimes I don't have the time to do that. So it's better for me to focus on writing grants or creating materials rather than that, right? So that can be really helpful. But yeah, just to kind of like circle back then with everyone on the call today, like if you guys wanted to put out real quick, like what are your main challenges with the website, the social media, the things that Emma talked about today? Do you guys have any main challenges if you guys just want to kind of pipe in?
I think that social media for any organization really does have to stay about as social as you can, and to promote the community, and to not only to promote the community, but promote connection in community, and that's really hard to do. And I think as people are not able to be physically together, how do you create these feelings of connection that keep everybody going during this time? And I think that's probably one of the biggest challenges in general, whether it's traditional media or it's social media. I think there's this real difficulty in getting people to be to feel they're not alone, and to feel that the community is there, and we're all kind of sharing those same uncertainties and inabilities to plan. I mean, we're all kind of, I was just talking with someone, and we were talking about, okay, so we're going to be planning, these particular events or these promotions, and it's kind of like you really can't. So how do you keep that going in a way that's frankly believable?
Yeah.
That's great.
I was going to say, I think one of the things that's challenged me, especially in the past, was clarity, just kind of like the flow. But also, when I think of personal and professional development, I mean, I can go life coaching, I can go relationships, I can go career development, I can do corporate culture. I mean, I have all these tools in my toolbox, and it's really about how do I streamline it or get it more focused into small niches, and then direct my information out to a certain audience versus trying to do a blast to everybody, where then you're not really serving anyone. So I think that's where one of the challenges is I've had. Even though I can do it all, I can't say I can do it all. I got to say I can do it here, 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 here. So it's almost like branding for each audience.
Right. Jackie, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, really well said. You call it tools in your toolbox. I call it what's in your portfolio, because we can offer a lot of different things, but it's not for everybody. And so you're right. You need to personalize and tailor your offerings, because doing the mass blast, here it is to everybody, we'll see who bites, that kind of writing, that kind of outreach is kind of obvious, and it doesn't speak to people anymore. It may have at one point, doesn't anymore.
Well, it's sort of like women's chamber. We're women's chamber, but doesn't mean that men can't join, and and even though we focus on entrepreneurs, whatever, women entrepreneurs, it's really women in business, period. So it doesn't really matter. But if you stick to one niche, the other ones will come.
Yeah, absolutely. Other challenges? Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Emma.
Yeah. So something a little bit with that, because I do, since I can really relate to that, where I have a few moving parts in what I offer and what I'm interested in offering. I'm a meditation teacher. I now have these community offerings through my WordPress website, and then the services are those other things are kind of hobbies, passions, and then the services are really how I pay the bills, right? And so those things I have to focus on a little bit more. And so the tools that I have really help. And honestly, the preview app for designing Instagram is huge for me. I can get these photos out that I want. Maybe it's, with a Canva template of an event or anything really, an offering. And then it helps me see, okay, what am I focusing on this week? What am I focusing on this month? Who am I talking to? How do I lay it out so I do have a specific kind of voice for those offerings? And so it can be kind of under one name, like this is who I am, this is what I'm offering. And then every once in a while I do promotions. I don't do paid promotions that often, but every once in a while I will. And then there's a way in there where you can pick your category of who you're speaking to, and then kind of Instagram or Facebook on the back end will find those people and promote to those people.
Right, yeah. And then we also have, Jen wants you to reach out to her personally. So Jen Nelson here on the calls, because she wants to set up a private meeting with you guys, or with you, Emma. She said, Emma, hi Emma, great presentation. I've been listening. My video and mic don't seem to be working. Emma, please provide us your contact information. I would like to schedule a private meeting with you. Thanks. And definitely we will send that out to those of you who have registered, so you can have that as well. And then Razmeet asked, again, she said, do you recommend any other photo editing programs for PC users that are free?
Oh, PC, yes. I had a moment last night actually where I was like, I wonder, yeah, I wondered about the PC users. I've been a Mac girl for so long. But I know that on the phone, my PC friends have what they call, I think it's Snapseed, and they really like it. So if you're taking photos on your phone, Snapseed has some lighting and tools that you can use to edit your photos. And then also there are a couple of Adobe free photo editing for the phone. And I think that you can transfer those to the computer as well. But I'm sorry, Razmeet, I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, that would be great. So maybe we could, we'll do some research. She said, no worries. We'll do some research because I'd like to know too, and we can send it out with the notes for the email, or for the, yeah, to the email to all of you guys who signed up. So that would be great. I know Steph said, I used to use something else and I can't remember what it is. I mainly just use Canva a lot right now, but that's not for photos. But Canva, do you guys use Canva? She had mentioned Canva. Jackie saying yes, Meg. Mothers, yes, Razmeet. Okay, yeah, Canva is amazing. Like I used to use PicMonkey a little bit. It was a lot more technical. So Canva is great. But yeah, that's a wonderful place for you to really brand photos really well. And a lot of different things. Even like you said, that you can even do website landing page on Canva right now. So that's really cool. Yeah. Awesome. Well, Emma, do you have any last words before we close up today?
I'm just really thankful to have been invited and to sit with you ladies today. And so, yeah, thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you again.
Great. And yeah, and before we wrap up too, I just have a couple more things to mention, but I want to just go ahead and talk about that clarity and connection that Jackie and Meg brought up. I think those are really important tools as we move forward. You know, we still are in a pandemic and we will be for quite some time. And even after that, I think people are just going to be more used to online. So how can we really continue to work on connection? I think this is one form where we can just kind of open up the floor to people, have some more discussions, have it a little bit more informal so we can have, you know, more of that connecting. And yeah, and just to also touch on what Jackie was talking about with social and social media, and I've heard that too, it should be 80% social and 20% media, like, you know, like that whole like media marketing. So it really should be that. And Bank of Guam is, if you guys all have seen their commercials and their social, you guys have actually done a fantastic job about keeping the social in that. So definitely something to look at as well. But that's a really great example. One of the main downfalls I see in a lot of entrepreneurs is they just sell online, right? All their posts are about pushing their products. And it's like, you would do that in person. What are you doing, right? So it's like, yeah, it's like, okay, we still got to communicate ourselves because it is social media. It's not just marketing. So I think that's a really good thing that you brought up, Jackie. And then of course that clarity, Meg, really, because once we start as entrepreneurs and in business, we just want to do it all. We can do it all. But then what starts to happen is that you start diluting who you can reach to, and you may not do it all well. You'd rather do a few things with high quality, really be clear on your messaging, and then you can be clear on your branding and everything. And a lot of people, then they start freaking out going, but then I'm not going to have as many leads. And it's almost the opposite happens all the time. You get more because you're more specific. You build a reputation in that one niche. So it can be very scary to do the switch, but it's really important, I think, and that's what I've seen. So Emma, I just want to thank you again for just being able to talk about all these things, because these are, you know, websites website development, branding, social media, knowing just what kind of editors to use or what kind of, things to use. Really good. When you were talking, I already put apps on my phone. So I have some of the apps. I was like already putting them on, going like, okay, now we can start playing with those. So these are great tips just to help us streamline our businesses. So thank you very much. Yes. And as I close up today, I also just want to, I'm going to share my screen real quick, just to also talk about, and this will just take a couple minutes, guys. Whoops. Okay. I am not full screen. Sorry, hold on. Okay, that's just going to be the way it's going to look for now. Sorry, guys. Okay, but I just want to talk about, for some reason I can't, oh no, I can. Okay, nope. Nope, it stopped. Sorry, I'm having issues with that, but I can go ahead and talk about it. We do have our industry advisor sessions for Guam Women's Chamber of Commerce. Thank you, Eileen. She's doing the back end work. Thank you. All right, she's got it up. So if you want to, even I know Jen was like, I need a private meeting with Emma. You can also go through the GWCC and we can set that appointment up as your discovery meeting with Emma. And the Guam Women's Chamber actually has a grant to help pay Emma just for an hour of her time, up to 3 hours at no cost. So you as a member can access that time with Emma as far as that discovery meeting and that introductory meeting, just to have some of your questions answered. Of course, we also have different experts as well. So if you guys have something like, even with the PPP coming, if you have questions about that, or if you have questions about your books, or maybe you have more specific questions about getting online or anything business related, please do call us, as that is part of the Guam Women's Chamber. All of your members, you have up to 3 hours with industry experts at no cost to you, as we have a grant that will help cover the industry experts' time. So please do reach out to us. You can sign up today at connect@guamwomenschamber.com. And we do have more things coming up. In August is our general membership meeting, so please stay tuned for that. We're really excited about it. And as I also said, we are working forward with Angel from SBDC on getting that PPP loan forgiveness webinar, so you know what to do, or if you want to go ahead and try to get your loan forgiven, you can have the steps involved with that. We are working on some other things on the back end, of course, and we will be sharing that through our social media and our email list. And I just want to go ahead and give a big shout out to our sponsors, of course, the Women's Business Center. In the next couple of months, hopefully, actually Eileen's there now. She's at our physical address, but it's really noisy there because we have M80 building up the office right behind her. So we have a glass office going up right now as we speak. And this is usually where we will be having our meetings in the future. We may have one more virtual one. We're just kind of testing. Like Jackie said, it's hard to plan things completely right now. But as things start opening up more and more and people start coming together, we can actually start hosting our professional development workshops there in the future. So we're really excited. And of course, Addis Trust, that's at Addis Trust down in Hagania, and that's a beautiful office right behind, let's see, it's right across from Carabao Brewing, back behind there. It's a gorgeous office. And we also have Bank of Guam is one of our major sponsors, GMI, Matson, Pacific Daily News, Trivision Media Group, Sorensen Media Group, and all of our other sponsors that we have as part of the Guam Women's Chamber of Commerce. So we thank you, all of our sponsors, and of course, all of you members for being a part of the Guam Women's Chamber. And please do follow us on social media and through email so you can get more information. And once again, I just want to thank you all for showing up today. If you have any questions, Emma's sharing her information. And thank you again, Emma, for being part of the Professional Development Committee and being a member and hosting, or being able to be on this talk today and to really share about website development. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, bye, ladies.
Bye.
Thank you, Emma.
Thank you.
Adios,
Thank
everybody.
you.